What is up, everybody? This is a very exciting day. Welcome back to the return of Friday List Perfectly YouTube Lives. We have a special show today, a fabulous lineup. We're going to talk about recent ASD Market Week and obviously have some great guests. Clara and Amanda will be here. But first of all, let's say, hey, what's up, Garden Resale Thrifts? Nice to see you. Red Nose Pit, that's a new name. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're all doing well. And then, along the way, Kim, Koala Trading Company, what's up? Nice to see you. Along the way, if you have any questions, but we've got a big show planned for you. We're going to be sharing links, sharing videos, and we are going to talk about the ASD Marketplace Week, which was recently in fabulous Las Vegas, attended by Trish Glenn, Theresa Cox, our friend Susie Eads. And then they saw some Vegas friends while they were out there. What's up, Dana Crawford? Thanks for joining. And so we're going to talk about all that and talk about all these interesting potential options you have for wholesale, for sourcing. And I love the fact that Trish and Theresa are looking for potentially new directions for their business, for their sourcing. So ASD is a great way to do that. And then also they're doing another show in Vegas in August. So we'll share information about that. And then we'll have some news. And then at the end, we will have a fabulous giveaway. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's welcome back Clara and Amanda to the Friday YouTube Lives. I'm going to bring them in. They're backstage. They're ready. They're pumped up. They've been through hair and makeup. So let's welcome the fabulous Clara Albornoz, our Chief Strategy Officer, and Amanda, our CEO and the co-founders of List Perfectly. So
Hi, Dougie.
what's up?
Hey, Doug. Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Look at the love of so many. Thank you, everybody, for coming and stopping by. This is so meaningful. You're here.
Good crowd today. Pat Allman, Becca Hustles, Kathy.
Oh, my God.
New names.
Yeah. I saw Amy, Hanika, Vanessa. Hi, Kathy. Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy. I'm here in Rhode Island. I'm still enjoying this beautiful weather. Why am I here in Rhode Island, Amanda? Why? Because she is from Rhode Island.
Yes, and we've been doing some some stuff with my parents and getting some family time in. So and actually, coming soon, we're going to be talking about how my mom wants to downsize. So we'll be getting into that.
Breaking news. Did you just hear that? This is so exciting, Doug, because in real life, the CEO and co-founder of List Perfectly is going to show you how she's going to be listing and helping her mom downsize her amazing collections, guys. The collections, the porcelain, from kitchenware, from metallic objects like very vintage brass, copper, you name it. I was very impressed with the collection from your mom. This is going to be an exciting saga of helping mom downsizing, and we're helping it motivates everybody.
Yep, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
And we're going to document that journey. And Amanda, just a couple consignment tips. Make sure you have a contract and make sure you get your cut.
Mom? All right. Well, we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Yes, and that and more tips. I'm so happy we're back. This is part of with Amanda. We want to communicate to you, beautiful audience, that I know you've been missing us and that we were a little hidden. It's because we're coming with we were working so hard with Amanda and the whole team List Perfectly, but we're coming with so many new features, so many. And as always, we're committing ourselves to do not raise the prices. That's another commitment from List Perfectly. But now the new list perfectly, I want you to feel that we're always there for you. We're never too busy for you. So Amanda and myself, we're never too busy to listen to you. We support you. We love you, community, and thank you for coming and stopping by. And that, thank you for always believing in us. What can I say? And if you haven't listened to the Seller Community Podcast, what are you waiting? Go and check it out. Amazing episodes. Who did you just interview, Daggy?
So interestingly, this week we talked about ASD on there, but this week it's a very special episode. Diane Lassonde is on and talking about her selling journey. So you can listen in at thesellercommunitypodcast.com. But that's a great episode this week, and we're going to have her back on soon. So yeah. And so, yeah, we touched base on some ASD stuff, and we talked about how Susie Eads came along with Theresa and Trish, how Crystal from Rosie's Closet was there. Obviously, they met with Katie and Vicky and bumped into a couple resellers while they're out there, as happens in Vegas. What can you do?
Yeah.
Vegas, baby.
Well, I'm really excited to hear all about this because, yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of resellers go, and I want to find out what is ASD.
All yes.
Right. So, without further ado, should we bring our special guests in? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, to the Clara and Amanda Friday Live Show, the fabulous 20-something year eBay seller, and the other fabulous 20-something year eBay seller with new hair. Who dat? Theresa Cox and Trish Glenn. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hey guys.
Hello. Welcome.
So fun to see all these partiers over here on YouTube.
Yeah, thanks for coming. A lot of these guys come to, listing party every day. So it's great that we can get them to come over to YouTube also. So, yeah. So ASDT, what did you think?
It wasn't, I've been a couple of times. I think I figured out it 4 or 5 times. It wasn't as big. There, Las Vegas is renovating one of their 3 convention center halls. So a couple of the vendors that I was really looking forward to, some food vendors, weren't there. Those are the ones that I missed, and some outdoor stuff. But other than that, it was, what I expected. It was a lot of booths, a lot of walking, a lot of variety, and it can be overwhelming. What did you?
If you've never been, I don't think you would have any concept that it was smaller than it should be. Yeah. I mean, so Teresa's saying that, like, if you've never been, it was enormous. It had anything from, convenience store food to, high-end diamonds, gold, beauty supply, fashion, tools, outlet.
So it wasn't just clothing, right?
No,
do you mind if I present the website? Can I go and present the website, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think actually clothing was a small.
Yeah, I think clothing
a small part of the real estate.
Yeah. So they'll do it again in August. So if you think this might be something that, you may be interested in, definitely go to the website and check it out. It is free. So that's one thing that is really great about it, is if you register beforehand, it's free.
Yeah. Do not wait and register at the door, because it's like $65 or $75.
Yeah. But if you register even 2 days beforehand, it's free. They send you lots of information. You can see things beforehand. I definitely would. And there's also things that you don't really think about, I thought, like closeout, people who have closeouts. So they'll get new things constantly. So for us being resellers, that may be something that we would feel a little bit more comfortable with right off the bat, because it is like, it could be one-offs or just 2s or 3s, maybe not, 500 of the same product or even a dozen of the same product. So I thought that there's a lot of potential. And also there's a cash and carry aspect.
Yeah.
So where you can just bring money and buy right there on the floor. What did you think of the cash and carry?
I wasn't looking for cash and carry. I did buy something, some of the booths. So I kind of went through cash and carry really quickly. But some of the booths will offer samples. And so sample is somewhere between higher than wholesale price, but less expensive than retail. And so the idea with that is you buy, one of this or one of that and you take it home, you look at it and hopefully place an order later on. So the cash and carry, I think there's absolutely an audience for that. And I think that there's people that go just for the cash and carry section. I think that there was such a vast variety of the type of sellers. I mean, and we talked about this before, but I got to the point where, because I am an online seller and I know this from before, a lot of these vendors will not sell to e-commerce. And the last time I was there, and
that is so true, Teresa, because they do not. With Amanda, we attended Magic many years ago, which still going in Las Vegas, and they couldn't sell to us because we were eBay sellers.
Yeah.
But
the last time I went, I think it was 2018, and many people wouldn't sell to online sellers. This time I found it to be less. I was getting rejected less often. But I also learned to lead with, I sell on eBay, Walmart, and Amazon, and not lead with Amazon, Walmart, and eBay. And they said, okay, eBay and Walmart are fine, just not Amazon. And I think
I just want to say, like, Susie Eads was with us.
I know.
She bought tons of stuff, and she didn't even tell anybody where she sold anything. So, she not only did the cash and carry, she did do orders. Nobody asked her. So I almost felt like maybe we shouldn't give up the ghost unless somebody asks.
Yeah, and that's true. And I didn't say that to all the places, just some of the places where maybe from my experience, I don't know, some places I just led with it because I didn't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
And having, go through this whole thing and then, you need a storefront. And it's like, okay, I just wasted 35 minutes. So, because I didn't say it to everyone, but a lot of people said, I don't care. And some people said no. So, it was just probably from my experience that, and Susie didn't have any problems with anybody.
None. Nobody said one
nice.
thing. Ed, I think it's
I know the answer, Trish, on that one. I did ask when I went to Magic, and they told us it's because you eBay sellers, or if you have a small website, they think that we're going to undervalue and bring down the value of the brand. That's why the reason. And I would tell, literally, we were no. It was just unanimous at the end. We were having fun just with the sellers and learning and doing content, but was unanimous. Did anything change, Trish, now? Did they get you a different answer?
Yeah, I do think some of them have specific people that they allow to sell on Amazon. So, like, one of the things was a sock company, right? And that sock company, if you had a storefront, you could order from them, but they already had 2 or 3 people that were like their storefront on Amazon. So they wouldn't dilute that anymore. So, right. So I think it's a combination of the two things. Sometimes it's a perceived value and they think we're going to hurt their bottom line. And I also think sometimes they already have deals with people on Amazon, Etsy, eBay, wherever. And so they're not going to do any more than those. But then I think there are people who could care less. And if you're going to buy their stuff and sell it, God bless you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Trish, this was your I misunderstood maybe, but I think this was your first time attending?
I went once in 2018. It was right after eBay Open. And Kathy Terrell was speaking at eBay Open and then spoke at ASD. And so I was like, I'm going to go over and, know what that is. So I went in, watched her speak, walked around and knew I was way in over my head and went back to the hotel and gambled with Diane. So, but this was in 2018. I was still closing down my store and everything. And I was like, this is.
But that's a good question. That's in a good segue. Why do you think you were above your head? What made you feel that event did not apply at that part of your reselling journey back in 2018?
Honestly, I think it's because I was very used to selling one-offs. And so the idea of having to buy multiples of something was very scary. And I also, as a lot of us who get in this business, and I am assuming that you guys would agree with this, we're used to spending pennies,
Yes.
right? Like we are buying something so cheaply that we're making a really big profit on each one. Even if it's only being sold for $25, we only paid $1 for it, right? And this is a completely different thing. This is you're spending 10, 12 bucks on something to make 50. And that can be scary, I think, when you're new to this business.
Spot on. Thank you. What do you think, Theresa?
Yeah, and I think that, it is a totally different business model. I went in this time, I've been trying to get to ASD for 2 years, and I went in this time with a whole different set of eyes. Last time I was there, I was looking for the stuff that I typically sold on Amazon. Well, I didn't realize that I wasn't going to find Nike and Adidas and Under Armour. You're not going to find any of those name brands. And I shouldn't say that I was thinking like I would find this source to find all these shoes that I want to buy. No, that's not happening. But there's opportunities and I've learned so much in the last 4 or 5 years that maybe I don't have to do this whole thing that what I thought was private label, where I would be on the hook for a $10,000 order direct from China or India or wherever, and have to wait for 3 months to come over, then build the listing on the site and all this stuff where it's a lot of risk that I just didn't want to deal with. Well, now I realize that I can buy something unbranded and brand it myself. And that's private label. And I can do that and do it on, I don't need to sell it on Amazon. I can sell it on eBay. I can sell it on Walmart and, just hopefully have the same kind of velocity. So the margins for some things, there's an area in there that you can go, it's just source direct. And that is like you buy from the manufacturer that's making these socks in India, and their minimum order is 500 pair per style. And you're like, yeah, that's not where I want to start this little journey at. And so you go, and I mean, it was interesting to see you start off with, what are your minimums? At this first question, what are your minimums? And, sometimes it was 5,000, sometimes it was 500, sometimes it was 12, whatever it was. And then you would go from there based on your desire to, do I think I can order $500 from this booth where I see one thing? Probably not. So, but I like the way it's sectioned off such that anybody, the last time I went with my brother and a friend of his who owned gas stations. And his friend that did gas stations was stopping at all those places where they have the little USB charger for your cigarette lighter for 38 cents, and he can put it on the counter and sell it for $4.99. And he was the one looking for the little, the gas station stuff is so much, but it's a convenience store.
Okay, bye. I gotta go sourcing. I'll be right back.
She has
Or
a new
little
business.
tiny bottles of dish soap, or the stuff that you see in all those convenience stores when you're on the road. You don't care that you're buying 8 ounces for the same price as you're buying 32 because you need it right now and it's there. And so, it's just a very different thing. And they have it sectioned off very well based on the type of buyer you are. We just walked it all because we don't know. We had an identity crisis.
We didn't know what we were looking for. But you know what I would like to go back to what Theresa said about product sourcing direct. Susie spent a little bit of time in there trying to get some things made for her directly for her Victorian trading business. And that to me was really interesting. It was, she had something she brought to them. She wanted it kind of like, she wanted this similar. She didn't care about, she had certain things she wanted exact, other things she didn't care about. And they're doing, they have, a ruler and they're doing it by the millimeter and they're figuring out price. And then they would give her a price and Susie would say like, oh, that's more than I thought. And then they would say, well, how much do you want to pay? And I realized, oh, this is not a set thing. This is a negotiation, right? From the get-go. And so it was really interesting. And I do think that if you're interested in any of this stuff, going with somebody and watching how they do it is really helpful because, I watched Theresa, and Theresa would ask questions that I wouldn't even think of asking. And then Susie would ask things that I definitely didn't think about asking. And then I was like, oh, I should be thinking about this broader. And so having, going alone, I could see how it could be like I was the first year. You walk in and you walk out. Going with other people and seeing what they're interested in and seeing what they're thinking about doing. And I don't mean by like stealing Teresa's ideas or stealing Susie's ideas. I mean more like how you negotiate, what the questions you ask to make sure that you're getting the right kind of deal for you and your business. And I think if you're somebody who is remotely interested in jewelry, if you sell custom jewelry, going to ASD is a good thing because
Jewelry too?
yeah, it was amazing. I mean, the jewelry was unreal. And
That's
it was
one thing. If I could go back, I love doing vintage, but that's what I could do. Jewelry.
really,
It's easy to ship. It's
yeah,
easy
it
to
is.
transport.
It's
You
true.
know, for me, the margin of loss, okay, with packages and shipping and
Yeah, very little.
overhead,
Yeah.
and sometimes sometimes you have employees that they mispack stuff, so that's what I like about, and it's small enough that even though you can put it maybe sometimes on a flat rate envelope and require signature, if you feel that it's going to be a big order.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the shipping of the jewelry is a whole nother level that, most people, we don't. And also the storage of it. You could have, 20,000 items in a bedroom, and be able to find it all and all that. Yeah, I agree.
So, quick question. Does anybody know what ASD stands for?
We looked at this. Wait, let me look.
I know.
We tried to find it. We're like, I don't know.
I give up. You know what, Kimberly, I'm just here, girl. Okay, one girl to another. Okay, here, I'm gonna share the website. But I Googled it. I went to the website. When you go to the fine print, I think that I almost read the terms of service and I couldn't find. To the one that finds what is ASD, will I don't know. We'll do something special for you.
I know.
Source direct.
Wait, what?
Something source direct.
Oh.
No, affordable shopping destination. It used to be something about sourcing direct, but it was never real. What I understood before, it was never really an acronym for anything, but everybody kept asking. And so they came up with something. And I just Googled, what does ASD Wholesale Show stand for? Affordable shopping destination.
Nice. Okay. I have a question because this, we touched on this, Trish, you touched on this as a new, like you're used to selling one-offs, and maybe, this is a world that you're a little scared to dive into. One of the thoughts that I always had when I would go to these shows with Clara is, well, what if we're new, right? We're not a proven buyer just yet. What if they just send us their junk, like their rejects, their irregulars, the stuff that didn't quite make the quality control because we're not in their world just yet. Those were some of my fears, but I mean, what do you guys think about that? Is that unfounded? Is it
valid fear? The last time I was there, I spent $850 on a liquidation palette of makeup. I probably donated $800 of that makeup before I moved 6 months ago because I just don't want to deal with it anymore. Like it was small. I was approved to sell it on Amazon, but it was $5.98 with free shipping, and you just couldn't make any money on it. And this was discontinued.
Do you think the weather of Arizona influenced? I'm just asking from, no? Oh, okay. Because
it didn't influence me.
Arizona is literally during the day we go 80 and at night it's like 40 degrees. Okay. So I just wanted to know if that was a concern of yours with makeup.
Maybe it should have been, but it wasn't.
Okay. There you have it. Okay. So makeup is difficult to store. That's my biggest concern. You have to have some kind of climate control facility, in order to maintain the quality.
Yeah, those are valid points. I think that was more of a peer pressure purchase. I was there with a couple of other people and they were like, yeah, you should do this. This will be great, blah, blah, blah. They were wrong. So they're not like, so when Amanda said that, it made me think like maybe they took advantage of me. I don't really know if they did, but I know that I will never ever sell makeup because it's not fun and it's hot and boring. Even if they're tiny, small things, and I can fit a 20,000 in my bedroom, I will never sell makeup again.
See, and when Amanda said that, I thought about the people who were selling their booths. So there were lots of vendors there who sold the booths, who sold their samples, right? So at the end, you would buy it, and then at the end, you'd come back and get it all. And so, and there would be booths that would say booth for sale, or some would say sold, don't ask, whatever. So, and Theresa had spoken to John, Resale Rabbit. Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm.
And he had bought a couple booths, and he went the first day and he bought a couple booths. And so at the last day, he'd go back and get them. So that might be something, if you're somebody who's relatively local, drivable to Las Vegas, that may be a way to start with some products and see if you like them, see if they sell, be able to get them at a good price, and then maybe get your foot in the door. That's one way that you could do it. I do like the idea of the seconds, especially on some items, scarves. Some items it wouldn't matter if it was a second because it would be scrunched up and nobody would notice the thing anyways. So that's an interesting play, Amanda. I hadn't thought about it.
So I had gone in with the plan of buying a booth. I had came close the last time I was there to buy a booth, but it was, I don't know, it was in March and I was getting ready to move in April, and I was like, I cannot move all of this stuff. Lowest price for $4,500 for a booth. I would have, depending on what it was, it probably was worth it. But what I didn't realize, and I think it was somebody that we were talking to at the show, was what goes into that. So you buy a booth so that the people that schlepped all that stuff there and set it all up don't have to do anything. They can just get on a plane and go home. So what that entails is you've got to break it all down. You've got to put it in boxes. They've thrown the boxes away. So you have to have something to carry this out with. Somebody said you have to do the union something because of the convention center. And then I started thinking, I'd look at a booth that I'd be interested in. I'm like, how am I going to get this out to my car? It was a whole other level that I hadn't thought about.
So are you literally buying the display as well? Like the racks, the curtains, the tablecloths?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the racks and stuff, but that's a good point, because that one vendor where Susie was talking to the guy about his name, like I counted, they had 100 foldable shelves. They're not gonna give that away with their booth because that's their booth setup. But yeah, so I think they probably empty everything off, take what they need to do, head off. I don't know, because we didn't stick around to see them break it down. I don't think you were allowed in the convention center after they closed unless you had reason to be there. So, but that's a good thing. Maybe if I go again, I'll go on the last day and just see how that works.
Kimberly, I don't think that's true. I think most of these places will sell to anybody. It's just kind of being able to go in and touch the wares and see them and feel the weight and know if you're going to like it.
And know the seller, Trish. And know
right,
to know the company who is, because it tells you sometimes you see beautiful merchandise and they are acting like they're the president, okay, of the world, okay. So for me, that was something to be sure that you connect with the seller as well, or their team.
Yeah. And so I think that's a valid point, Clara. And I think you want to feel comfortable and know somebody's going to have your back if something goes wrong. And that kind of gives you a feel for all those things. But Kimberly, if you go to the ASD website, you can absolutely find some of these companies and go to them directly. I just think it gives you a different thing when you attend in person. Hey, speaking of which, we have a little video that's just like a minute that just gives an overview if you guys want to see it. There's no sound, so we can talk over it, but it's just a little video that gives us some idea of what it looked like.
Yeah.
So when
go ahead and present it, and then Doug will introduce it.
I've got the video. One sec. It's
okay.
Fabulous
So
video.
reminder that we're talking about the booths and the benefits, and Susie was kind enough to let us know that she, because she had a booth, right? The lowest price was $4,500 to get the booth, and we're discussing right now the pros and cons, and we have a short video. Ooh.
So that's us going. That's just an overview of the thing.
All right.
It was
I love it, Rosie.
exactly the cash and carry bit part was really large, and you
Yeah.
could. Then they had a convenience store. Most of it kind of looked like this, just rows and rows and rows of items,
Random.
and random stuff. You would go from paper to beds to,
Oh, so it's not organized by sections or wow.
Well,
So
they
you really
are,
have
but
to walk the whole floor to find that.
And the
yeah,
other
I
thing
mean,
that we found,
it would be. Go ahead, Theresa. I'm sorry.
the other thing that we found that's beneficial from being there is every time we walked into a booth, we would feel the item. Some things felt very cheap, like dollar store. Some things felt like high quality. That's one of the biggest benefits that I got from being there, is that I can order from a website, but I don't know what the quality is going to be like.
Absolutely. I agree with Theresa 100%. We kept touching plush, and I would touch a plush and I'd go yucky. And then I would touch one and I'd go, oh, I like this one. I mean, some of them felt gross and then some of them felt great. So I do think that is absolutely one of the best things. And like just the jewelry that you can see, the jewelry and the pocketbooks. If you're into pocketbooks, fashion, jewelry, tons of stuff. Those fake Judith Liebers. And then that's just us getting there during the day.
Oh, Susie.
It was really fun.
That was beautiful.
Okay, I have to make a PSA. PSA. We do not recommend anybody sell knockoffs.
No. They don't have knockoffs. Okay, I said fake Judith Liebers. That was not correct. I'm glad you. I guess what I meant to say is Judith
Lieber-esque.
Judith Lieber-esque. They were not fake. There were no fake.
Okay.
They were in the likeness of them.
Yes, that's what I meant by those crystal pocketbooks. I apologize. They were not fake. That was one thing that I did not really see was fakes. I'm not saying they weren't there. There might have been some under some, like you do when you go to the flea market and they keep them underneath. So not everyone sees them. But there were not like fake Louis. There were some real Louis. There were at least three consignment stores that had cash and carry things full of vintage or high-end bags, and they were not afraid to charge. Yeah.
Okay, no, that you just said something that really made me interested. So I am thinking that it's like, like in-person Alibaba or something like that. But it's not just that. It's a variety of different sellers. It could be anybody.
Well, there was 3 bags. There were, 3 booths that had vintage and high-end pocketbooks. I tried on at least 2 Louis that I had to control myself not to buy. So yeah, and I couldn't figure out, it's really interesting, Amanda. I actually thought to myself, who the hell are buying these, right? Is it sellers that are buying these? Are they buying them to resell? I couldn't figure out the angle, but they were busy. So
wow.
99% of the booth is going to be from dollar store to mall stores to convenience stores. And I think I only saw one of those booths. So Trish saw 2 more than I did.
Well, they were selling the carry that you didn't really stay in.
Yeah, cash and carry. Yeah. So, and it was only handbags.
Okay, pocketbook, East Coast,
handbag,
West Coast. Okay, I'm doing the translation here. Okay, the joke with Trish, we were going pocketbook. What? Pocketbook. What?
People. So it's called a pocketbook. Amanda's mother would agree with me.
Yeah, that's what we grew up calling it.
Exactly, she would agree with me. But I thought it was really great. I am looking forward to going again. Actually, I think now that I have a better understanding of what it is, I really would like to get into something else. Business wise, I've been selling used clothing now for
How long?
7 or 8 years full time, and I really think I would like to add something else to my repertoire. So I am really seriously considering adding something, and this kind of opened up my mind a little bit. So I look forward to going back again, actually.
Yeah. So do you think would you wait until next year or whenever is the next conference or event, or are you actively gonna be contemplating to maybe reach out to these manufacturers or the sellers and execute an order?
I will wait until August
Oh.
because I was not as smart as Theresa and Susie. Every time Theresa, I was very overwhelmed. I'm going to be honest. I went in like, oh my God, there's so much stuff, right?
Yeah.
But Susie and Theresa were really good about taking cards and taking a photo of the booth with the card. So they would know. So they would get the card and take their phone and like take a picture of the card with the booth in the back. So they would know in their head like what it was. So, and some of these people would say no photographs, but if you were doing that, they seemed okay. Well, I think they don't want you to steal their designs.
Oh, yes. That makes sense. Yes.
But if Susie would always say, can I take a photo with the thing so I remember? And they'd always say yes. So I think it was just they didn't want you coming in and filming their booths.
Yes, and that's the thing that one of the benefits of attending these events is that you get to see the latest and the newest and anything that is the most recent release for those particular brands, and that's why you want to attend these events and not wait for later. And by the time, maybe if you waited and didn't attend, by the time you want to order and reach out to the merchant, they're out of stock.
Right. Yeah. So Theresa, may you order?
Yes, I will. I'm going to spend this weekend. I have my I brought my props. These are some of the catalogs I got. I took I took notes. So there's something. The item that I was interested from this booth isn't on this pamphlet. So I was interested in they had red dish pans. Now, for those of you that have known me and followed me for a while, you know that I used to sell a Sterilite red dish pan for 5 years in my store. It was bread and butter. I would buy it at Walmart for $1.98, and I would sell it on eBay for $18. And I would sell an average about 2 a week for 5 years. But I can't find them anymore. So I saw this in this booth, and I asked her because it was a totally different. It had ribs on the bottom. It didn't feel like it was a hard plastic, not the soft plastic. And it actually made me think, is this really a Sterilite? So I wrote that on here, and I will call them and see about, because it was $1.98 from this place too. So, I could get, if Walmart carried it, I could still order it at Walmart. The other thing, so this is funny, on Saturday, everybody's leaving, and I text Trish and Susie and said, don't forget your business cards. And they said, too late, we're already leaving. I'm like, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. Why are you already leaving?
I was at the airport.
I know. I was driving. So they didn't do that. But then another thing is that is to bring a marker, because we took notes on business cards of all these things, or on brochures. I have, just because it's a lot. And if you don't take notes, there's no way. So I have this. Here's another tip. When you get something, somebody hands you something like this, and it's, for me, if it's full, I throw it away at night. But if I fold it up into fourths, that means that it's something that I really want.
So that's your special. Yeah, okay. So to not offend the merchants when they give you something, fold is the one that you're going to follow up on. And if it is perfectly flat, is the one that you're going to get right there. Perfect.
Yeah. Sometimes, because that's another tip. Don't take everything that everybody hands you, because your bag gets ridiculously heavy fast. But then I just made notes on here. Minimum quantity is 144 pieces. They have it in small, medium, and large. So when I call or look at the website or whatever, I'm going to know.
I didn't take one thing from one person, Theresa. That's how overwhelmed I felt I was.
Wow.
I didn't take anything. So I'm not, that's why when you said, would I order anything? I wouldn't even know how. I didn't take anything. So I'm not the girl. So we're all what tea
The
does.
chocolate that they had in the little bowls for people, that was good to have. I didn't pass that up.
It was
Ay.
So yeah, I mean, we put out these full-on, I can't figure out my camera, full-on catalogs. Like these
Nice.
get heavy if you start picking them up from places that you're not really interested in what they have to sell.
How do you fold
Okay.
that in force, Theresa?
exactly.
You learn, you only take, well, sometimes I would take it, sometimes these vendor booths are really, really long. So somebody's at this end handing you this and you take it and then you walk down and you put it down at the other end of the booth.
It's true. And I would like to say one more thing that we didn't bring up was they have education at these things.
Yes.
Wait a
There-
second. What?
Yeah, they have educational, they have talks, they have different seminars. There's all these
What?
different educational things. And we didn't go to one of those. We did not go. The thing is so big that we didn't go to one of those talks. So again, in August when I go, because I'm gonna make a commitment that I'm gonna go in August, even though it's Vegas and hot. I'm still going in August. I want to go to the educational stuff. I want to see what they have to say. We didn't attend any of that.
No.
And there was multiple sessions every day. And some of them with some pretty big names. They brought in people from the outside to give a talk. So Theresa has spoken at ASD a few times through eBay, correct?
I spoke at ASD, like somebody from ASD reached out to me twice. So I just spoke, I don't even remember my topics. And then eBay went to ASD at one time and the ads team asked me to speak. So I actually spoke, did whatever talk I did for ASD and went and spoke about promoted listings for eBay, which is interesting because, I mean, so I purposely knew I wasn't going to go to any of those talks. I had one mission. I wasn't going there to do the networking at the night, like at nighttime, like that is like when in most in-person events, that is a huge part of why you go. But because I'd been before, I wanted to remove all that noise and go back to the Airbnb at night and sit there and make notes about the stuff that I had, look things up on the internet. It's a lot easier to check things out on the internet now than it has ever been. So that made that work quick and easy. And so, yeah, so we missed out on stuff that I would, if somebody was going for the first time, I'd absolutely say, go to the educational sessions, absolutely go to every networking thing that you can. But that was a conscious decision for me this year not to do it because I was just going for a very different reason. So I think that would be good if you went in August. I'm not going in August. I live in Arizona. I don't need to go in August. I'll go back next March.
Oh, come on,
Vanessa.
T. You love the heat.
Yeah.
But not
Vanessa, I
shopping
don't
around.
know. Vanessa,
that?
there was absolutely craft booths. I don't know if there was anything specifically scrapbooking, but there definitely was stamps. There definitely was journaling.
Okay.
Junk journal stuff. I saw a lot of stuff
Yeah,
for junk
journal.
journaling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Debbie's asking, is this only in Vegas, guys? Or what happens if I'm in the East Coast?
You got to fly to Vegas. Yep.
Now, there are other things. Like there's the Atlanta. Atlanta has a fashion, mostly, I believe it's mostly fashion that's open all year round for wholesalers you can go to. There are home shows, there are gift shows, there are other things, but I don't think anything is as big or as comprehensive as the one in Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, they do claim that it's the widest, the widest selection of supply for
Random
sellers.
stuff.
Random stuff.
Yeah, this is the biggest, but there are like regional focused wholesale conferences.
Sure.
I did find a Star Wars and Toys conference in California. So that's what you're into.
There you go.
Nice. Hey, one girl's Carla. Hi, Carla wants to know if the LV purses were priced with some margin for reselling.
No, Carla, I did not.
Wow.
That was half the reason I didn't buy one, because I kept thinking I can get it at a better price than this. So no, I didn't. That's why I was confused at who they were marketing them to.
That's interesting. Who do you think? Who do you think they were marketing to? Since there is no, so do you think it's like you have to place like a big humongous order to get like some kind of discount, and in that way you can create some margin? Or how does it work with those sellers?
I don't know. I
Because
mean, there
I
was a
observed
bag.
the same thing with Amanda, for
Yeah.
example, with Spider, that brand Spider,
Yeah.
so many other brands.
I don't know. And I tried on a couple. They have one that I want. I'm coveting a bag that I want, that I've wanted for a while. And every time I see it, I see how cheap I can get it. And it was marked $2,900, which was ridiculous. And she said to me, "You can have it for half off." And I said to Susie, "That's still ridiculous. Like, that's still, no one would ever pay the $2,900 ever. I mean, unless you didn't have any clue what you were doing and you just fell in love with something. But I mean, you could practically get a brand new bag at Louis Vuitton new for $2,900. So I didn't get it. I don't know. It's a good question, Clara. I really don't know.
There was definitely an anomaly in that whole space to have just a few booths selling vintage used stuff.
Yeah, especially when, I mean, if you're going there to look for vintage, there's so many better shows.
Yeah,
to find vintage.
I don't think it's towards vintage at all. So I'm thinking they were just trying to get, I don't know, mass audience, and they thought enough people would buy, which they must have. I mean, there was 3 of them, and one woman said she's there every time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was interesting.
And look what Tilly Bean is saying, question, how do you know which vendors are open to eBay sellers? You ask each one in person, or do they have to sign ups or anything like that?
It wasn't like Trish said, Susie didn't have any issues at all. Nobody asked her. She didn't give the information out. And I think that I just did because of the resistance I met last time I was there. Much less resistance this time. I mean, I didn't say it to everybody, but when you say that, I just saw a note on one of these cards that says, "We'll do private label." So,
Nice.
as I said, I'm an e-commerce seller. He's like, "We do private label." I'm like, "Okay, this guy doesn't care." So it doesn't. There's definitely no signs, and they're not worried about eBay. Everybody was concerned about saturation on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would just say I would like to order 12 of these and see what happens. If they don't ask, I wouldn't tell.
What I'm getting from this is it's not like you're dealing with brands. You're dealing with, a different set of goods. Like if we were talking to Ralph Lauren or something like that,
then it would be different.
Then it would be different. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
Which is why I think Theresa had problems with those socks, because that was the brand directly, wasn't it, Theresa?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I didn't realize that. I did look them up on Amazon, and for sure they have a presence on Amazon. But it wasn't a brand I was familiar with. I just thought they were cute socks.
Isn't that interesting, Amanda, how things have changed? And now they're more concerned about Amazon sellers than eBay sellers. That for me is a shocker.
Yeah, it makes sense. It just goes to show how much Amazon has penetrated e-commerce, and if you want to find it, you'll find it on Amazon. And eBay is still in the game. That's good.
Yeah, definitely still in the game. I mean, it's number 2, and Walmart's 3 at the moment. I think, did we just see that?
Yeah, and I think Etsy was 4th.
Yep. And I do think that I get the Amazon thing. They don't want to crowd off their thing, but I just think the rest of us, they're not really worried about it. I wouldn't worry about it, Jilly Bean 651. I would just try to place it in order and see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like Susie said, she didn't mention it, and only 2 people have told her not to sell it on Amazon, and she doesn't sell on Amazon, so it's not a problem for her.
I love it. And Kimberly's doing a good question. They're asking if you have to have cash and carry, or they also ship large orders, etc. So can you repeat that part, T?
Yeah, so cash and carry, you can do that. Susie did both. She ordered, and some of those orders were placed, like they placed it the day, and they were there when she arrived at home. She ordered them on Sunday or Monday, and when she got home on Thursday or Friday, they were there, and she's getting boxes all the time. But she also bought a whole bunch of something. I don't know what it was, because I got there after the guy was zipping the suitcase up and saying, "Here, you can have this suitcase. If you buy all this stuff, I'll give you this suitcase to take it home in."
It was close. It was close.
And then she bought some other stuff, and we were hauling those around because it was cash and carry. And yeah, so it was a mixture of both.
But I think the cash and carry was what, 25% of the thing or less?
Yeah, that's a good guess.
So most of it is orders, Kimberly. So most of it you order and it be sent to you. The cash and carry part was probably 20 to 25% of the show. The rest of it you had to order.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What we have, hey, Red Nosebit, so do they require a business license? And a little higher above,
No business
Dana
license,
asked
no
for
tax.
tax ID.
Yeah. I saw
What
Dana's
about tax
question.
ID?
No tax ID. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have business license. You just have to put your name and a business, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
No
Wow.
credentials to get in the door at all.
Oh, so cash is just the license, let's say.
Cash
Cash
is
and
king.
carry, they didn't ask anything. I don't know. Susie was here. Did anyone ask you for a license? She never mentioned it if they
Not
did.
any. I mean, I was with her when she was writing up several orders. You were probably with her too, and they never
never asked
for that. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about, because Susie was, whipping out her cash, and I was like, hey, if you're gonna pay cash, negotiate a cheaper fee. How much is it if I get cash? Because those people will do that. If I run it through my credit card, it's going to cost them 3.5%.
Yeah.
And it can. So, but if I give you cash right now, what kind of a deal will you give me? It's that kind of what I call back alley negotiating.
Also, Theresa would say to everybody, "Do you have a show special?" So, like each booth, she would ask them.
Oh, like a special for this event, like a special.
If I make an order today, what am I going to get? Because I wasn't interested in making a ton of orders necessarily, unless it was going to be a big enough deal that it was worth it for me to place that order that day.
Well, some people would say to Susie, if you do it today, you get free shipping, so there was some deals that people had. Some people said, no, we don't have one, so.
It was interesting. It was all over the map with the type of sales, minimum orders, minimum quantities, everything. It's just, there was a little bit of everything. It was a hodgepodge of reseller information, products, ways to buy things, ways to source things. It was just anything and everything.
Oh,
it was fun. It was really fun.
This was also a fun session. What a great way to come back and finally with Amanda, with Doug, with you guys that you've been from supporting Liz Perfectly and all our beautiful audience right now. I want to remind you at the end of this session, Doug is going to be assigning free Liz Perfectly. So stay in, okay? The only requirement is to be new to Liz Perfectly. And we're very, very thankful for your support, for your time, and above everything, our incredible guests. But I think it's time to wrap this up. What do you think, Mandy?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think so. We got a lot of really good information here. And if anybody's curious about attending, you have a little bit more of an insider perspective. So thank you.
You're welcome. Hope you guys all have a lovely day. Thanks for having Theresa and I on your first show back. Very fun. We look forward to see what you guys are going to do on Fridays, because these are going to be a regular thing, right?
Yes, that's right. Okay. That's right. So I am.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say.
That we're honored to have you here. Yeah. And thank you for joining us on our first live. Every Friday we'll be live. Doug is going to give us a little more information about it. But thank you, Trish. Thank you, Theresa, for your time. And thank you for giving your incredible knowledge with our audience.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye, everyone.
Awesome.
Right, Doug. So now it's us. All right, so let's go ahead and, we're going to say goodbye to our beautiful audience. Mandy, what did you think about this live?
I thought it was really cool. It's good to know. I mean, sourcing is really, it can be tricky, right? So it's very good to know about all the resources. If you want to sell a lot of small things, get a big quantity, a show like that might be for you. It seems like, getting in with some of the brands is hard, right? But this is a nice alternative for selling things on eBay and as a reseller. I think it's great. It's another source.
Incredible.
Exactly. No, this was great, and it's super interesting, and those shows are gigantic. Trish showed a video, she posted a video on social where Tesla has tunnels between the hotels and the convention center now, and halls of the convention center, and they're just about the size of the car, and you zip through there, and they're neon with neon lights. And Elon Musk wants to do that between Los Angeles and Vegas at some point. So
Oh no, I don't think that would be fun to travel in a tunnel for 5+ hours.
5+ hours.
yeah,
Get me out. That's just me though.
But couple things before we do go, ladies. I've
Yep.
been handed a couple urgent news announcements that we have.
All right.
Assistants Kevin and Moose sleeping at my feet. But so, ladies and gentlemen, we share reseller news on our socials. We share reseller news in the podcast, but we got a couple kind of breaking updates this week, direct from a couple of the marketplaces we work with. So if you don't know, Grailed has just added new payment options, including Klarna, Affirm, and Apple Pay. So that is big, expanding those payment options on there. And Grailed labels have expanded beyond the beta group that they had, and they're now available to everyone. So, and Grailed recently has shared plans for global expansion, the global expansion of the label availability, starting with Canada. And they're also offering domestic expedited shipping options for even faster delivery. So you can find more about that at grailed.com. And then this is so, in case you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, so we regularly, especially Clara and Amanda, we talk with the marketplaces all the time. They talk to us all the time. So Kittison, our friend Kittison CEO Dory Graff reached out to List Perfectly this week and wanted us to break the news that they have launched a sale of reseller boxes, which is their new liquidation inventory program from some of their brand partners. So that's a big one. That's a cool one. And you can find out more about that as well at kittison.com.
That's awesome. Another sourcing opportunity.
Speaking of sources, yeah, that's great. And we've got some friends that are our friends, Tiffy Pie and Sarah Boynkin are Style Scouts. They've been working on that. That's a cool program over there. And Dory Graff spoke at Camp Listing Party last year, and that was very popular. She made a lot of connections, and Kittison's really cool, and she's a really cool lady. And I really like much like List Perfectly and Photo Room, very connected to the community. And so that's a hot topic. I spoke with Justin Lee this morning, and here's a breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. We will have a great interview with Justin Lee of Photo Room, great partner of List Perfectly, next week on the podcast. We're going to talk about Photo Room, the partnership with List Perfectly, and community, and how it all ties in the seller community. So keep an eye out for that. But thanks, ladies. This was great. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Clara and Amanda are back on the Friday lives. We have other lives as well. Trish and I are doing reseller tips on Wednesdays, but Clara and Amanda will be here on Fridays, and they will feature guests. Just to tease next week, we will have the amazing Susie Eads on, who has 2 online businesses, 7 children, homeschools, balances it all, travels to ASD, buys stuff, cash and carry, all that. And she's a very, very cool, fun, and hilarious lady. So that'll be a great chat. So anything to add, ladies, before we do the giveaway?
No, how exciting. And thank you for mothering. I really like this structure with you, Doug, and I'm looking forward to many other sessions.
Yeah, this is great. This was great to be back. Thank you so much.
Of course, no problem. Always happy to help, and always love alive. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to give away 3 months of List Perfectly to a new user. So you have to be new. And so what's going to happen is when we choose you, you will email community@listperfectly.com. So that's here in the comments coming up, community@listperfectly.com. All right. So, and sometimes this has happened. Sometimes we haven't had a new user. We've got a lot of loyal watchers and listeners. So if you are a new to List Perfectly, you don't already have List Perfectly, drop your name in the comments and we will take a look. You have to be honest, Garden to Resell, because we'll be able to tell who's new to List Perfectly, or we'll hold it till next week. We'll see. We're waiting. I do have a wheel that I could spin, but I have to have names.
we have a loyal audience here, but that's we just in case you're watching this and and the live finished, don't worry, we will give another new free List Perfectly on the next live. Holly Winfrey says, I have been on a trial for 2 days. Has to be new. Okay, Holly, sorry, thank you so much for signing up. Okay, so it has to be someone that never tried List Perfectly. Well, we're gonna leave it for next time, and we're gonna say goodbye. This was an incredible session. What do you think?
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much, Amanda. I'm gonna give you free List Perfectly. Clara, you can.
Yeah, I just wanted to share. I know it seems like what we would love to give it. It's actually a technical limitation on our side. It has to be like someone that literally is not in the system, and that is why. So, but yeah, please, like if you have a friend, maybe next week.
All right.
Yeah. And then real quick before we go, I'm looking at my calendar. So Monday on our YouTube, we have the YouTube, the podcast recap, the monthly recap. Next Friday, Clara and Amanda will be back with Susie Eads.
Yes.
Listingparty.com. You got to check that out. Tons of listing parties 24/7 over there. And Kim, yeah. And don't forget to join the referral program, the best referral program out there. Tons of information on the website. And then thesellercommunitypodcast.com, Power Selling Podcast as well. We're doing tons of stuff. And again, Clara and Amanda are back. Clara, can you do the listing party?
Listing party!
And what's funny too is Clara is incredibly consistent in the way she says that. Is like some people have variations, but Clara is always persistent.
Why messing with perfection?
But all right, thanks everybody.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks, Clara and Amanda.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. We'll see you next time.